Scams are getting more and more sophisticated. According to the FTC, scammers stole $12.5 billion from consumers in 2024 alone. From phishing emails to fake texts to fraudulent checks, the threats are everywhere. Paul Benda is here. He's the Executive Vice President for Risk, Fraud, and Cybersecurity at the American Bankers Association. He's here to talk about it. Paul, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on, Ken.
Well, we appreciate you. And what are some of the most common scams that you're seeing right now?
We're seeing a lot of imposter scams out there. The bad guys are really figured out how to use technology against us. They can spoof your bank's phone number and name on the caller ID. And they steal your personal information. They'll call up, they'll have your name. They might have the last four of your social security number, or they might say, hey, are these the first four numbers of your credit card? Pretending like they know information about you. And so they've gotten a lot more sophisticated than they have in the past. And their goal is to get either, your full credit card number or some of your security details or that one-time passcode so they can hack into your account.
Paul, I'm still shocked that there are still those folks who are calling senior citizens and getting them to buy gift cards and mail gift cards. I was at a supermarket in Fort Lauderdale a couple of weeks ago, and I bought
Yep.
gift cards for my nieces and nephews. And they had to say, we need to talk to you because I bought like
Yep.
5 gift cards. Did anybody approach you and ask you to pay for something with this? The manager came over. And
Yep.
at first I'm like, excuse me, that's invasive. And then I realized, no, thank God. This is good that they're doing this. But is that still a prevalent thing?
It is. It's still, what they try and do is instill a sense of urgency into you, whether it's pretending to be your CEO and saying, hey, we need these gift cards right away. They don't want you to stop and think. They just want you to act. Or they'll tell you it's a secret. If it's a secret, it's a scam. They're trying to convince you that something's happening. You need to work with us to investigate your bank, or you need to work with us to help the government out. You're part of investigation. And so they're really good at this. They do this thousands of times a day. And, and they've got information about you. And so people really need to be on alert when someone calls you out of the blue.
You lead the banks. It's a hashtag. Banks never ask that, right? It's hashtag banks never ask that campaign. So what things will a bank never ask its customers?
Sure. So we try and use humor. Just like a bank will never ask you whether you wear boxers or briefs, whether you believe in aliens or not.
Right.
You go to banksneveraskthat.com and you can get this list. The bank is never going to call you out of the blue and ask for that one-time passcode. Sure, if you call the bank and they want to verify you, you know who you've reached out to, give them that information. But if someone calls you up, even if they know your name, remember, they can buy that stuff online and start asking you for personal details. Don't give it to them. Hang up, call the number on the back of your card to go to the website.
Yeah, they can get your name, address, so much stuff. Even other people who
Exactly.
live in the house with you, right? They can get all that. They can
Exactly.
buy
All that
that.
stuff is available online. That's right. Exactly.
It is scary. And check fraud. There's still check fraud out there. So it's on the rise. So what do we do to be safe with our checks?
People still use checks, unfortunately. So, the best way is, we have practicesafechecks.com, but, we are an abstinence-only shop here at ABA. We prefer you not write checks at all. But if you do, make sure that you track those checks when you write them. Make sure they get deposited at the right amount. Check your statements regularly. If your bank gives you images of those checks, check the back of the check to see who actually signed that check and make sure the amount of that check is correct. And last but not least, please don't put the check at the end of your driveway in that mailbox with that steal me flag up. Criminals drive
Oh my
around looking for
gosh.
those flags and just pull that right out of your mailbox.
Unbelievable. And you could, it's so easy. Pretty much every bank offers electronic checking, right? So you could just get online. You could do a transfer electronically. You could see it, make
Exactly.
sure it's done. There's no typo before you
Right.
send it. And there's a record of it there. And
And
no
you can
one's going to
save a
steal it
stamp,
that
right?
way.
You can save a
There
stamp.
you
They'll mail
go.
it for you.
Smart way to do
So,
it.
yep.
Unfortunately, I know once you cross like the 60-year-old threshold, like I don't do that. I just do it the old. Well, that's why we still have theft. I'm not trying to make fun, but that's why we still have it. So now banks are doing a whole bunch of things to help keep customers safe. Talk about some of the other things that the resources that banks are doing to help folks stay safe.
Sure. So one of the big things is this consumer education campaign. So Ken, really appreciate having me on educating your consumers. Like I said, banksneveraskthat.com, practicesafechecks.com. But banks are investing billions of dollars in advanced artificial intelligence. Just like the bad guys are using it, banks are using it. There's a reason you get those fraud alerts. There's a reason that someone might call you up and say, hey, did you make this transaction? Someone might send an alert on. There's a reason, like we're even seeing banks, because check fraud's so bad, if you write a large check that's unusual, your bank might actually call you up and say, hey, did you actually write this check? So we're trying to protect consumers because we know the criminals are always innovating, so are banks.
And Paul, could you give us a website for more info, please?
Sure. We'd love you guys to go to banksneveraskthat.com. We've got a quiz there. You can test your scam knowledge. You can see some funny YouTube videos. Or, unfortunately, if you're still writing checks, go to practicesafechecks.com.
There you go. Or if my bank sees me write a big check, they laugh and say, "You don't have that in your account." Paul Benda, Executive Vice President for Risk, Fraud, and Cybersecurity at the American Bankers Association. Thank you for coming on today. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Ken.